Hopefully, oh, there we go. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're recording. Let me see if I can switch it to the speaker view. Yep, okay. So, just really excited to have you guys on. So just to timestamp this is our, well, it's not our weekly huddle, but it is January 2nd, 2018. And just, you know, I love the beginning of the year, and there's lots of things that feel hopeful about the beginning of the year. There's I think the beginning of the year feels like the biggest Monday. You know, I know most people love Mondays because it's kind of a time to restart or start new things. And, you know, that's how I feel like the beginning of the year is. The neat thing, though, about this business that we're in is that, you know, it doesn't necessarily, you know, it doesn't end per se. So any time can be a new year. So if somebody starts their business in March or April, you know, that can be a really significant time for them, maybe every year when their renewal comes up. So I think everybody's muted. If we're not, I'm going to mute. Okay. So really tonight, what I wanted to share about was to give you guys just some of my thoughts, to share with you all my vision for 2018, what I really see for myself, for this team, and just to help really get us started with the new year so that, you know, we really can capitalize on this month, this quarter, this half of the year. I do want to tell you guys that we had a great December. I haven't gotten a chance to put out the shout outs or things like that, just because with it being the new year, and then today is Lola's birthday and different things. Again, with my grandma, we just have kind of been crunched on time, but so many awesome things just happened, and it was just really fun to see the growth that has occurred in this team from the beginning of 2017 to the end of 2017. And so, you know, I just want to encourage you guys to think about that for yourselves. Where were you? And I love that assessment. If you haven't, I just started to work on my assessment. If you haven't gotten a chance to print it off and start working on it, I absolutely would recommend you take some time. And even if you're like, I don't have time to just sit down and complete it all at one time, just do work on different chunks. There's a part 1, a part 2, a part 3. I don't know if there's a part 4. No, just the 3 parts. But it's really helpful because it does help you to reflect back on what was accomplished in 2017, as well as give you really some of those just really good questions for you to chew on and think about what you want moving towards 2018. Okay, so why it's important for us to have a vision call, why it's important for us to really kick off the year in this way is that in this business, as with any endeavor that takes a while, is you need to start with the end in mind. Okay, this isn't a microwave business. This is a crock pot business. Okay, so when you put a meal in the crock pot, you know, you don't get excited an hour into the crock pot meal, because most times when you look at things in a crock pot, an hour in, it actually looks worse than when you started. Like the meat doesn't look fresh anymore. It kind of has this weird gray tone to it. It's not hot and juicy and delicious. It's actually gross, kind of cold, lukewarm. All the sauce looks funky, you know, and because you're only an hour in. Well, if you turn off the crock pot an hour into the cooking, you obviously forgo everything that you've invested in it. And most good crock pot meals take 6 to 8 hours, right? So if you check it at hour 4, maybe things are starting to look a lot better, but many times between hour 4 and 6 or hour 6 and 8, things look a lot different. And so it's really important in this business that we keep the end in mind. We keep every year with the end goal, the year-end goal in mind, because here's the thing, you guys. If you know where you want to be December 2018 and you evaluate your business February of 2018, it might look gross. It might look ugly. It might have a weird color to it. You might not feel like you can even recognize it. You're like, what happened? I put all these amazing things into my business and nothing's seeming to come together. And so that's why you keep the end in mind in this business, is because, you guys have heard it said, you've heard me say, we eat the elephant one bite at a time. And everything that we're doing is moving us in the direction of that end goal or that vision. And if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. If you don't have a timeline on these goals, if you don't have a timeline on this vision, you really won't ever arrive, and you'll find yourself 6-7 years into this business either having quit or just kind of wandering around, and I don't want to, anyone to ever say like, gosh, I just didn't know I was supposed to set a goal. I didn't know I was supposed to have this clear, concrete vision of where I was going. But that's really why you want to keep the end in mind. So that's one of the things that I love about this assessment, is that it asks us to write down, where do we want to be in December 2018? Where do we want to be September 2018? And our closest goal is GTC. Where do you want to be at GTC? Volume and income. And I think that is really important. So I would absolutely recommend utilizing the assessment. It's not going to be a requirement that you share it with me, but if you do want to share it with me, once you've got it completed, I would love to hear from you, because I do want to hear that. But there's a part of it where it's your responsibility to create that accountability, and then my responsibility is really to be available. But my responsibility isn't to seek people out and say, hey, do you want to be accountable? Hey, do you want to fill out the assessment sheet? That's on you to do. My job is to be available. And so I'm here to be available when you guys get that filled out and you want to chat through it, or maybe if you have questions on any of that. But the two things that we're going to talk about tonight is, one is creating a vision, creating really that picture of where do you want to be 2018. December of 2018. And then the second part, I'm going to go through just a top 10 list of what I think are the top 10 things. And these are just from me. I didn't get them from another VP, so I'm sure that there's lots of lists out there. But these are the things, as I really have been thinking about it, praying about it, and just really wanting to share what I think are the top 10 things that not only am I going to be doing in my business to make this my best year yet, but that I think can be applicable to any consultant, no matter where they are in their business, no matter their commitment level, no matter their time commitment, all of those things. So starting with the vision, your vision has to include 4 components, okay? The first is your vision has to be crystal clear. You have to know where you're going. And after I share these 4 components, I'm going to share with you guys my vision, and there's still definitely room for me to work on it and to create some more clarity and things like that. But the first thing is, it has to be clear. Clarity is important, because if you can't see your goal, the vision, others won't be able to see it either. When you're at a group presentation, when you're sitting across the table from somebody at a coffee appointment, when you're on a Zoom call, if you can't clearly communicate to them where you're going in this business right now, and paint a picture for them of where they can be a part of your vision, they won't see it for themselves. And that's why your vision has to be bigger than just you, because it has to be big enough to include other people. If Linda Hefner was only sharing her vision as her being just a national vice president, well, that doesn't leave me room to become a national vice president. Her vision has to be an executive national vice president in order for me to see that there's room for me to become a national vice president. And it's the same thing for you all. You can only communicate a vision that's clear. That's why writing it out and meditating on it daily really is imperative. So what I would recommend is writing it out on a notebook or an index card, so it's really clear, so that at any point, if someone's like, if you call a sideline consultant, or if I call and I'm like, hey, what's your vision for 2018? It's not wells, gosh, I don't know, things like that. It's clear. You can just recite it just like that. So when you're at the party, that's what the I story is. The I story is saying where you were when Arbonne found you, but a big part of that story is telling people where you're going and inviting them to be a part of it. That's why people that, Debbie Neal is an excellent one to listen to on SoundCloud when it pertains to vision. She has huge, massive vision, and she talks like this. But what it does is it really draws people in, and they want to be a part of that. So you have to have very clear vision. You have to be meditating on it. You have to be renewing your mind with it, because you tell, I mean, I know that this sometimes doesn't make sense, but we tell our mind what to think. By what we put into it, we tell our mind what to think. So we need to be telling our mind what to think, because when we tell our mind what to think, our mind goes to work to make it happen. When you're sleeping, it starts to generate ideas. There are, principles that start to happen. You begin to attract people to you when, you have those intentions set. So you got to get really clear on the vision. And that's why it's important to write it out. That's too where I put that article about why vision boards are so important. They're so important because we think in pictures, right? We don't think in words. Like if you're thinking about any memory you have, anything that you ever think about, you think about it in pictures. You never think about it in text. So when you go to write out a vision, that's excellent. You want to do that, but you also need to couple it with those pictures and make them pictures that are relevant to you, pictures that are believable for you, not just random pictures, but things that you can get connected to emotionally. Okay. The second thing is that your vision has to be concrete. It has to be real. It has to be tangible. This is important when you're saying things like, I'm looking forward to more time. I'm looking forward to more money. I'm looking forward to more experiences. Those are great things, but they're not tangible and they're not real. So think about in your vision, in these goals for the next 12 months, what will it actually look like? If you want to become a regional vice president, what kind of Mercedes are you going to drive? Is it going to be new? Is it going to be used? Is it going to be a car? Is it going to be an SUV? What's the interior? Is it going to be brown leather, black leather? Do you want TV screens? You have to get really clear on really small details like that. What's it going to do when you start getting a paycheck deposited to your account for $4,000, for $8,000, for $12,000? What's going to change in your life? Because something's going to change. So if stress goes down because your income goes up, what else changes? You have better relationships with your family members. You're able to be more present at things. Maybe you're able to give more to certain causes or things at your church. Like, what is it? What are those tangible things? What specifically in your life will be different when your vision is accomplished? Catherine Lutz, who's a mentor of mine, we had a conversation quite a while ago, and she just said, Missy, what will nation mean to your family? And it was a question that really stumped me for a minute, because I thought, it was just really that more money, the more choices. And she's like, awesome. But she's like, what will you spend the money on? And then when she started to drill down with me, it was like, I totally want a second bathroom in my basement for my girls, because we have a tiny house and our bathroom is the size of a closet for 6 of us. My husband is a saint, but I want a bathroom for my girls. I want more children. Really, we probably need to become a nation to make more children feel comfortable in our life and in our budget. So, it's those kinds of things. I want to take my girls to Disney World. They haven't gotten the chance to go to Disney World yet. I want to fly home to North Dakota at Christmas time, because driving when it is -10, outside and you're just all kind of stuck in a car it's not very fun. So you have to get clear on what does that next level or those next 2 levels, what does that mean for you? And you have to, again, it's got to be specific. It's got to be real. It's got to be tangible. And you have to spend time on this. Like, you can hear this call and then not do anything with it. But if you hear this call and you don't take some time to do stuff with this information, it won't change anything. You won't get a vision. You more than likely you're going to find yourself in this same spot this time next year. So if you don't want to be in the spot that you're in right now this time next year, you need to do different things. And part of that is creating this vision. Okay. The third is your vision has to be concise. It needs to absolutely be detailed, but it also needs to be brief, not rambled or random. And it also needs to be honed in on 1 to 3 things. because there might be 15 things that you want to accomplish when you become a regional vice president or a national vice president or executive national vice president, but we can only really focus on a few things at any given time. So what are your top three? Like for me, I have a top three that I want to accomplish by the end of 2018. And if anything in addition to that is accomplished, that's awesome. But I have a top three. And you can narrow it down to one thing. Maybe there's just one thing that you really want to see change in the 12 months. You know what? For most people, if they could say at the end of the year, this one thing I accomplished or this one thing I changed, that's success. It's not success because you changed 10 things. It's success because you set a goal, you set an intention, you commit to it, and you see it through. Okay, so it has to be concise. It needs to be concise because then it can be concrete as well as clear, and that clarity is what you can communicate. And then the fourth thing is that your vision needs to be compelling. Your vision has to be full of energy in such a way that it compels not only you to action, but it compels others to join you. Okay? So if you have a vision and it doesn't compel you to act, it's not a vision you've actually connected up with. It's either not a vision you believe, it's not a vision you're actually committed to, or it's not a vision that actually, is just connected to you. Because if you have a vision that really is birthed in your heart, it is a desire that you have for yourself, for your family, for your finances, for your future, it needs to be so clear and compelling that it moves you to act. And then what a greater vision does when it has that energy with it is it's going to compel other people to be a part of it. When I share with people what I do, many times they aren't saying yes because I've so convinced them that Arbonne is the best network marketing company on the planet. We have the best products and the best compensation plan. What they're saying yes to is me, and they're saying yes to the vision that I'm painting for them and what's possible for them. So you have to make sure that your energy is high. Like if when you're talking to people, like you guys can tell now, like I'm amped up, like I have high energy when it comes to talking about Arbonne. I have high energy when it comes to talking about my vision, other people's dreams, what's possible for them. I'm passionate about it. I'm very passionate about it. And so if you feel like, gosh, that's not really part of my personality, I'm just not very excitable, you've got to work on that, because people are drawn to energetic people, not. And energy isn't, I've recommended that Catherine Let's Call before on SoundCloud about, having high energy. But energy is really what comes in and supports the activity. It comes in and supports the sponsoring. It comes in and supports the follow-up. It's all of those things. It's just kind of that sweet sauce that we get to add to everything. So it has to be compelling. You as a leader have the great privilege to bring others into a future where they would not go on their own. And that's what a compelling vision does. A compelling vision says, hey, see this? I'm going to paint a picture for you of what is possible for you if you're willing to follow me in what I'm doing, and I can show you how to get there. And when you do that, you get the great privilege of saying to other people, come do this with me. I can show you what's possible. I can tell you that there's more than just Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, vacation 10 days out of the year. There's more choices. There's more opportunity. And so it's really, I think, important to make sure as you are working on your vision here, and I'm going to recommend really you guys work on it in the next 24 to 48 hours. Don't let a week go by. Don't let, half of the month go by before you just take some time to really write out where you're going. Use this assessment. It asks you, where do you want to be? How much do you want to be making? What does that look like? And making sure that it's clear, it's concrete, it's concise, and it's compelling. And here's the thing is we forget what lies behind us. You know, that's a thing in the Bible that I love. It just talks about forget your past. Like, if you didn't end 2017 where you said you were going to at the beginning of 2017, it's in the past. Let it go. Don't let it bog you down. I forget what lies behind and I press forward to what lies ahead, and I run the race that's set before me. I can't do anything, looking at the rearview mirror. I can't do anything about what I didn't do in 2017. All I can do is give my best to 2018. So if that ever starts to make you feel bogged down when you're writing out vision stuff and you're like, well, I didn't accomplish this last year, I don't know what's going to be any different this year. It'll be different because you decide to be different. But forget what lies behind and press forward to what lies ahead. So my vision, just to share with you guys, is I see this team, I see myself as an executive national vice president. That is a huge growth percentage from where we are to where that will be. But I believe that that is totally possible. And that is an executive national vice president structure with multiple regions within it, a nation, one or two within it, where people are welcomed, they're invited, they're refreshed, they are a part of us to partner with us so that we can give our best, we can become our best, and we can leave our best. That's really, and so that's general in some ways, and there's definitely opportunity for me to drill that down, but I know where we're going. I know where I'm going, and I'm creating space by stretching the vision, because it would be easy for me to say we're going to be a nation by the end of 2018. That to me is not hard to believe. I think that we're going to be there by this spring. But what does stretch me is to say we're going to be an executive nation, which means that people within this team, maybe those in here right now, maybe those that we haven't yet sponsored, are going to become nations. I believe that that is possible. Does it stretch my belief? Yes. But why I need to do that is because then it gives room for you all to say, you know what? Yeah, I can become not only a region this year, I can become a nation this year if I decide to do that. And so those are what I wanted to share about the vision. So switching gears, I want to give you guys my top 10 ways to make 2018 your best year yet as we work to wrap up tonight. So there's a lot, I think, on some of these points that I could expound on. And I might just a little bit. And they're not like in a Dave Letterman, like 10 to 1. I don't think one has more value per se than another one. But they all pertain to you, they all pertain to your business, and they all are specific. They're not vague. Like if you Google like how to make 2018 better, it's like reduce stress, eliminate things that don't bring you joy. It's like, okay, those are really nice, but that's not necessarily like a strategy. So these are 10 things for a strategy for you to make 2018 your best year yet. So number 1 is get up earlier than you did in 2017. And I think I'm sharing that with you guys because for me, that's one of my big 3s. I am committed to mastering the 5 o'clock hour. And for some of you, you're like, Missy, I already get up at 5 o'clock. And that's totally fine if you're already an early bird person. But getting up early is not so that you can get to work early. It's so that you can create time in the morning to have personal time, to have quiet time, to have meditating time, whatever you're going to call it. It's so that it sets the tone. That's the time you get to revisit your vision. Every day, you get to renew your mind. Every day, you get to speak your affirmations over yourself. Every day, you get to speak truth over yourself. Every day. So get up a little bit earlier. If you don't yet have that habit of getting up with enough time to create that space or that margin, that's what I'm saying by creating that time. And, maybe just start with 10 minutes and then bump into 15 and then bump it to 20. Because when we do that, it sets a different tone for the day. And I'm really excited to see that happen personally. Number 2 is be responsible with your yeses. You only have so much time and energy. So ask yourself when you're about to say yes to someone, whether it is your spouse, your children, your church, your work, your workout place, your friends? Is this yes moving you towards what you really want? And if it is not, then I'm going to challenge you to make your yeses be things that are moving you towards what you really want. Does this mean that you can't say yes to friends going, out for a birthday dinner? No, it doesn't. But if you are in a season, if 2018 for you is going to be a year where you want to see massive growth in your business and you want to see, just things be a lot different, then it might require you to say no to some of those great things so that you can say yes to your best things. Because if you say yes to everything and then you're trying to say yes to all of your Arbonne activity, you or your family or your spouse are going to get left behind, and that's going to create some conflict and some tension. So make sure you're saying yes and be responsible with your yeses. Number 3 is go for every incentive that Arbonne puts out. You may not care about a backpack. You may not care about a trip to Jamaica. You may not care about a water pitcher if they do that or whatever it is. The reason that they put those out there for us are just carrots to dangle in front of us. Okay? They're just there to spur us on, to continue to do the right things, to continue to be consistent. And so it's important that you go for those. Okay? It just is. Whether you like the reward or not, the reward is actually the growth that occurs in the business, not the tangible reward we get. Okay? Number 4 is eliminate in any form of the phrase or the word, I'm trying. I'm trying to book my calendar. I'm trying to sponsor somebody. I'm trying to hit my bonus. I'm trying, or I try, I'm trying. Any of that, eliminate it. 100% eradicate it from your vocabulary. Because what it does is it just creates an open door of opportunity to justify, to excuse, to, whatever it is, it's not a word that serves us on any level to say, I'm trying. We either do it or we don't do it. We commit to it. When you're saying, I'm trying to book my calendar, rephrase it with, I'm committed to booking my calendar. I don't know how, but I'm committed. Versus I'm trying to book my calendar. There's just a different set of intention that comes across to your brain. Remember, we tell our brain what to think, and to others. 5 is invest in and work on you. You will only grow your business to the level that you are as a person personally. So you've got to invest personally. You've got to listen to SoundClouds. You've got to buy some books. You've got to do Audible. You've got to do Learn and Burns. You've got to get Ion Arbonne's printed off. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but get to Bash and Nash. That's an investment of time and money. I get it, but that's not to go so that you can attend an event. GTC is not so you can attend an event. It's so you can invest in yourself. That's what those events are designed to do. So invest in yourself, commit to it, schedule it into your, your calendar. Don't go 4 months and be like, oh, I haven't read a book since last fall. You have to be diligently working on really growing personally, and there's multiple ways that you can do that. Number 6 is stop renegotiating your goals or your commitment to your business. Just be all in and put it to rest. Because I think a lot of times we spend too much energy going back and forth instead of just saying, I'm in, I'm doing this no matter what, I'm married to this business, divorce is not an option, I'm all in for all of it, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. That leads to number 7. Give 10 to 15 hours a week of work time to this business, getting in front of 30 to 40 people a month. It's simply just what is required for those who want to grow from district and up. You can become a district manager without a 10 to 15 hour week commitment or that 30 to 40 people. You can't go any further than that. You maybe can become an area manager, I will say that, but you will never become a VP if you're not willing to consistently get in front of those 30 to 40 people a month. And we find that that's obviously best done in those 10 to 15 hours a week. If 10 is better for you, then just get really good at your time. Just become more efficient and utilize those 10 hours. Number 8 is post your goals and affirmations multiple places around your house. You need to daily remind your mind of what you're working towards, who you are, what you're capable of. And there's different things that are going to resonate. Sometimes people like the I am statements. Sometimes people like the goal card. Sometimes people, there's just different things that you can use. So find what works with you, but post them around your house. And you know what? You're going to find that when you post them around your house, you might be tempted when you have friends or family come over to want to go down and like take them down because it's like, oh, that's so weird. They're going to see that I've got my goal cards written up. Leave them up. Leave them up. I've had cards posted around my house for 10 plus years. Everybody knows that that's something that I do. And you know what? It really does inspire them. It motivates them to be better because they always leave my house, with that thought of like, nah, I should do that. That's a great idea, And if they make fun of me, who cares if they make fun of me? I'm going to be a better person. They can go on and make fun if they want. It doesn't bother me at all. It's not impacting my paycheck. I'm just becoming a better person and inviting other people to be a part of that. Number 9 is guard this year who influences you. You are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with, whether that's physically, whether that's people you talk to. Maybe you have a parent or a sister that you talk to every day and they get a good portion of your time. Who are the people that you give your top 5 people that get the most time from you? Maybe it's coworkers, maybe it's a boss. You're the sum total of that. So watch your words. Watch the words that you let speak over them. Speak life over yourself, your business, your family. You need to absolutely put a guard in. You just need to guard any words that are coming out of your mouth that aren't speaking life, that aren't positive, anything negative, critical, complaining, gossiping, judging, all of that. It's got to go, because what it does is it actually plants bitter roots in you, and then you operate out of those bitter roots. So you just need to put a guard over your mouth, and you need to evaluate who you're spending your time with. And if who you're spending your time with are dream stealers, negative Nellies, drama Debbies, complaining Karens, find some new friends. Find some new friends. And if you're like, well, that's my sister and my mom and my coworkers, then spend more time with people on SoundCloud. Donna Johnson can be one of your top 5. You can listen to Donna Johnson for 2-3 hours a day, or Debbie Neal. Those are wonderful people to let be in your top 5. They don't have to be physically around you to be part of your top 5. And then number 10 is choose discipline. Choose discipline this year, because we either get to live with the pain of regret or the pain of discipline. And so I'm going to just be challenging our team this year, challenging myself to choose the pain of discipline. Discipline is what leads us towards the direction of our dream. It bridges from where we are to where we want to be, and it really creates that life that we want. It only ever comes through a decision to be disciplined, whether it's in our time, whether it's in our waking up early, whether it's in our food, whether it's in our finances, whether it's in our relationships, all of those things, all of those decision points come down to a discipline. Am I going to continue in this conversation? Am I going to spend the next 30 minutes scrolling Facebook? Am I going to sleep in or get up early? Am I going to push myself to be uncomfortable and go book an event? Am I going to reach out, and approach that girl that's sitting at Starbucks? Those are all decision points that are fulfilled through a decision of discipline. Okay, so we are running out of time. So I just want to thank you guys for hopping on tonight. I love y'all to pieces. I so can't wait to see what this team is going to accomplish in 2018. You guys are more amazing than you realize. And you guys just, Sunny and I and our girls, we love you all to pieces. My girls actually talk about the Arbonne team all the time, and we're just so, so grateful for you guys. And we're excited to just continue to lead and continue to grow with you in this coming year, because it's going to be a year full of joy. It's going to be a year full of growth, and it's going to be a year full of impacting and really influencing people on levels I think we never really saw possible. And so I'm just so, so, so excited for all that. So thank you all for hopping on. You guys have a good night. And thanks again for being on.